G'day patrons, here is the latest printer that I have just unboxed and put together last night, and its first test prints. It's the BQ Thunder, and the big thing about it is that it connects directly to the My Mini Factory app, so you can do cloud printing without any additional setup. So the assembly was actually pretty polished. It seems like a well-made thing. The instructions were quite good. If I move this back, you can see that all of the step-by-step parts are rendered 3D models, and there's good attention to detail. The translation to English is quite good, and the actual components of the printer seem quite good as well. It's got these cable chains. It's got a big magnetic removable bed, something that I don't really like thus far. It doesn't really spring back. It doesn't. You can see it's having trouble pulling back down there. Now, one really weird thing about it is the auto bed leveling. We've got this sensor here, and it plugs into the top where the fan is, and the bottom squishes around the nozzle underneath, like so, and then that's when you run the ABL from the menu. So that means you're not going to have any G29 ABL before each print, but it stores the mesh and then it'll use that in future. Now the touchscreen is really nice. I'm going to turn it off and on. It's got an auto power off function, so it's finished the print and then turned itself off. We'll flick it back. Nice interface for all of these things. All of the things you would expect: changing speeds, moving, homing, auto leveling. I really like that you can go 1, 10, and 50. So if you're lifting it quite a bit, you don't have to keep on pressing 10 over and over. And I haven't set it up yet, but there's a little symbol in the corner for Wi-Fi. Oh, and one other bonus: full-size SD card. Now, in terms of spares that came with it, not only did I get spare nuts and bolts as well as 2 spare nozzles, but there's a complete spare hot end, so that seems pretty good. All of the nuts and bolts for assembly were individually bagged and labeled really well. And the company also sent me one of the SKR 1.3 boards. I've had quite a few requests for that from patrons and generally on YouTube as well. So I guess I'll be making a video on how that goes at some stage. Now the test prints were pretty strange. They were off the SD card. Got this 3D benchy, but oversized. And as you can see, I arrived back and it was in half. So I ran it again, and then I walked in the room and thought it's okay. And then up close you can see there's a joint in the middle and one part is segmented. So no idea what's doing that. Maybe it's a problem in the G-code. Seems pretty strange for a company to put all this effort into all these other aspects and then have an error there. Maybe it's at a certain Z height. It does seem pretty similar, but I'll have to get to the bottom of that as I do more test prints. Quality seems pretty reasonable. Maybe a little bit of Z banding, probably hard to pick up in the light. But to my eye, I can see some stripes across here. So I'll put this one through its paces, and in a few weeks, I'll have the review out.